All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and welcome to the Trials Meta Report. Now, this is a series of videos I've been doing for a very long time now, where I analyze the data from last weekend of Trials, which was the first weekend of Season 14, to give you the information you need to know. What is the meta? What are the strongest weapons in the game? How has the meta shifted from season to season as perks change in the game? Bungie's been changing a lot of perks, and weapons get nerfed and buffed, etc., etc. It's very interesting to see, and it almost always turns out that the meta report from the start of the season is very different from the end of the season. So keep that in mind. It changes almost every time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Before I go though, comment down below, what do you think is the #1 most used weapon from last weekend of Trials? Go ahead and comment it down, and we'll see it by the end of the video if you're right overall. Here we go. First up, we have the #1 most used weapon overall, okay? We're going to go over console and PC separately because it's actually pretty drastically different, which is kind of rare, but this time it was very different. So we're going to go over console and PC separately. Here we go. Overall, Fellwinter's Lie, 2.1 million kills, okay? You guys, you can't put it down. You can't stop the ape, okay? You can take the quick draw off the shotgun, but you can't take the ape out of the Titans. That's an old saying that we all know about, okay? The Fellwinter's Lie, the #1 most used weapon still. They took off your quick draw and they're still aping with it. Oh my gosh. The #2 most used weapon is the Igneous Hammer. No surprises there. That was the most popular 120. And from all the tests I've seen, 140s are still really good, but they're just not nearly as 120 good. And they're not as forgiving to use as well either. So no surprises there. 120s still the king of the primary ammos. And along with that, we have the Steady Hand in the kinetic slot, which is obviously going to be the most used primary paired with the Fellwinter's Lie, considering looking at the stats. In the 4th slot, though, we have the Dead Man's Tale, which was predicted by myself and even by Bungie themselves. Literally, Bungie posted in a patch notes, or I believe it was a TWAB, I can't remember which one. They said, yeah, we're keeping our eye on Dead Man's Tale this season just in case it gets way out of hand. And it's starting to get out of hand. And I would almost be willing to bet that this will rise a little bit further each weekend as more and more people realize it, and as maps get a little bit bigger, you know? Endless Vale, there's no surprises here that the Fellwinter's Lie is the #1 on Endless Vale. That is the smallest map for Trials. So of course, people are going to shotgun a lot more, and you're going to see a lot less usage of a scout rifle, the Dead Man's Tale. However, when we hit, Rusted Lands or maybe even Javelin 4, you're going to see a lot more Dead Man's Tales in those mid-range and oversized maps, So keep that in mind. Dead Man's Tale #4 right now, but I could almost bet you 1 week this season, sometime in this season, Dead Man's Tale will be #1 on the charts. That's my prediction. The Igneous Hammer Adept is on the #5 slot right there. I can't believe how many people have the Igneous Hammer Adept. Like, a lot of people have it. I mean, let me know in the comment section below. Did you earn your Igneous Hammer Adept? Or did we do a little bit of that, win trading thing, what I'm talking about? And I just can't help but laugh at the number of stats of how many people have the Adept Igneous Hammer, considering how hard it is to go flawless in the game. I mean, it's really fucking hard to go flawless. I mean, we can all agree, right? You have to win 7 games and at max lose 1, which means, mathematically speaking, 80% or more, I don't know what the numbers are, 80% or more of people are going to be upset and not make it flawless, right? Because, it doesn't mathematically work that everyone can win 7 games and not lose, Like, every time you win a game, someone else has to lose, and then their card's wasted, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't understand how many people have this many Igneous Hammers. I don't understand. There's something fishy going on here, right? The #6 slot is the Astral Horizon, the kinetic shotgun. They nerfed you, Astral, but you're still up there. You're still hanging in. In the #6 slot, you can't take the apes out of the Crucible. They're going to always ape. Shotgunning is always going to be really strong in the game. And the reason why, and I have a strong opinion about this, I've had this opinion for a very long time, and it's something that you'll notice in D2 Year 1 was not an issue, not just because there wasn't special ammo, but because movement in the game equals shotgunning. If you can do what Titans do with Stasis, where they literally slide and achieve maximum velocity instantly, of course you're going to have shotguns, super prevalent in the game. Of course there's going to be tons of shotgunning, because the movement is so fast that you can close the distance and shotgun people. So movement is kind of an issue with shotgunning. So if you think that shotguns deserve a nerf, feel free to comment that down below if you agree with that opinion. Know that it's also a movement thing, you know what I'm saying? And let me know if you agree with that. All the way down to the #7 slot, now we have the Bastion. Bastion is nasty. I'm telling you right now, you haven't used the Bastion, it's nasty. It shuts down supers amazing right now, and is just super lethal overall. I'm not surprised at all to see the Bastion. They're one of the best kinetic weapon choices overall. The number 8 slot is the Shiera's Wrath. Now, this one took me for a surprise, okay? I was like, hold up. How is an SMG in the top 10 most used weapons? Now, I'm going to go ahead and predict this right now, and I could be wrong, but this is entirely due to popularity. This is just, it's a new weapon. People are just like, cool, new weapon. Got it in trials. Now I'm going to use it in trials. I do not think that the Shiera's Wrath is actually meta or deserves to be anywhere near the top 10 right now. It is a good weapon, but there's just so many other weapons that outclass it, especially the one that's about to come up next, which is the Last Word, which is almost just as functional at the same range, except you don't have to aim down sights with it, and it literally just like spams and just has insane time to kill. The Last Word is in the number 9 slot, and the number 10 slot, the kinetic shotgun, the Chaperone. So a lot of people got their quick draw taken off, their shotguns, so they're like, hey, we'll just throw on the Chaperone. That's not a half bad solution. The Chaperone does fire a slug shotgun instead of the pellet shotgun, so there's a little bit of difference there. You know, requires a little more precision, and Chaperone does tend to favor more controller usage and console usage, so keep that in mind. You're not going to see as many PC gamers rocking the Chaperone, but no surprises to see the Chaperone in the top 10. Now let's go over console stuff, okay? This is Xbox, and this is PlayStation. You can see the Felwinter is still the number 1 most used weapon on both those platforms. Not a whole lot of variation between the two of them. You can see almost all the weapons are the same, except the 7 Seraph CQC actually squeaked in here into the top 10 on Xbox. So that's pretty cool to see. That there obviously a lot of people are using that shotgun because it has quick draw on it and is very easily accessible. And then over on the PlayStation side, we have the Adored Sniper actually squeaking in here. The only sniper to make it in the top 10 out of any of the charts. So sniping is definitely not very popular, especially on Endless Vale. It will be more popular on other maps, so keep that in mind. And then lastly, now we're going to move over to PC. And on PC, the Dead Man's Tale is in the number 1 slot. It's not the number 1 slot overall, but it is the number 1 most used weapon on PC. No surprises there. This thing is super nasty. Bungie has already been talking about putting in a patch to nerf this weapon a little bit, and I'm sure as soon as they see that it's the number 1 most used weapon the first week of trials, even on a small map, no surprises here, this weapon will be getting nerfed within probably a month from now. So if you're enjoying the Dead Man's Tale on PC, you know, spray that thing around as much as you can and enjoy it while it lasts, because she's going to be gone pretty soon here, okay? Number 2 most used weapon, Felwinter's Lie, and so on and so forth. Nothing too crazy to see here. The Shiera's Wrath even made it on PC, and the CQC did make it in the top 10. So that is the overall meta report. And in terms of weekly stats, we're going to go look at the all. For the first week of Season 14, with the new SMG, Trials was able to pull in 309,000 players, which is pretty good overall, but definitely, you know, it's starting to, you know, teeter down a little bit, right? We saw really high and really good numbers last season when we had the Igneous Hammer, because that weapon was way more meta. You know what I'm saying? That was actually like the best weapon in slot. The only other weapon comparable was the bottom dollar that you had to go get from Gambit. So, and then they made the weapon free when they made it for 3 wins. So no surprises there that we don't have as crazy numbers as we had during some of those weeks last season, but we shall see. You know, obviously I believe the scout rifle, the auto rifle, and the sniper will also come back certain times throughout this season. So we'll see how the trials goes this season. I have a good feeling that it's going to be a slippery slope of decline, and we'll probably by the end of this season, considering there's not that much new interesting things to chase after, we're probably going to see 100,000 players or less in those last few weeks, and it's pretty sad. Hopefully we don't get there. Maybe Bungie has some surprises up their sleeve, but at this point in time, it's definitely looking pretty scary. So that's the Trials meta report. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe with notifications on for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.